This video seeks to answer the question, why do we at South Mountain teach Python, and why should I learn Python? As we saw in the previous video, Python's in high demand. It's used in a lot of high-end areas, including data science, cybersecurity, and Internet of Things, as well as web development. And so there's a high demand for Python developers. Burning Glass is a company that does labor analysis and job analysis. And using the program Labor Insights, I looked up what were the job postings that included Python in Arizona in the last year 2019. And in the past year, there were 11,594 job openings listing Python as one of the skills they're seeking. Now, they may have been seeking other languages as well. I didn't exclude other languages. These were not just specific Python developers, but they may have been software developers and looking for people who have experience in one of the following languages of which Python was included. Now, if we look at Java, there were actually 18,590 jobs in Arizona. So it seems like Java might be a better choice. But let's go back and take a look at something here, and that is the projected growth for Python skills. Over the next 10 years, they expect a 21.4% increase in the number of jobs requesting Python. Python is on the move up. Here in Arizona, however, if we look at Java, notice the projected growth over the next 10 years, minus 6%. And there are a lot of companies that are starting to move from Java to Python, and we'll explain why that is in a moment. High demand is certainly one of those reasons why someone should learn Python, especially if you're looking for a career as a software developer. Now, not only is it in high demand, it's also in high salary. Nationwide, the median annual salary for Python developers, specifically those who are developing Python, was a little over $100,000. Here in Arizona, it's a little bit less than that, but let's look at how that compares to other areas of development. So it's pretty high here. The only two that I found that were really higher was Android developer and iOS developer. Those are easily in the six figures as far as the median average. About 5,000 more than the Python developers. Python, however, will be a great stepping stone to learn iOS and Android. And Java developers make a little bit less on average in the nation, about 95,000, and C# developers even a little less than that. Now, you'll see here there's also high-end and basically more of the starting end, which even be a little lower than this. But you can get a feel for where this falls in terms of high salary. Notice on the national level, they're saying the projected growth here for Python developers is over 30% over the next 10 years. The reason I suggest learning Python, especially as a first language, is it's a simpler language to learn. It has simpler syntax and a simpler structure in terms of doing things like loops and repetitions and list. And that means it's an easier language to learn. I think it's a great first language to learn. And because it's simpler, it means there's maybe perhaps a higher productivity level. And this is one of the reasons why companies are starting to move from other languages to Python. We're focusing on Python to begin with in areas like data science because of the higher productivity. Think about it, if you're a company and you can get more done in Python than say in Java or another language, you're going to want to move things to that higher productivity language. And that's one of the reasons we're seeing this surge in Python developers. Python is also extensible. There's a lot of libraries and platforms that use Python and can be added to Python to increase the amount of things that Python can do rather than just the core Python out of the box. It's also multi-platform, and that means I can run Python on a Windows machine, on a Mac machine, on a Linux machine. And I can develop on any of those platforms. And because it's popular, there's tons of resources available, a lot of which are free. But there's a lot of books out there. There's a lot of YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, tutorials online, Q&A forums where you can ask questions and get help on your Python programs. And there are also conferences and meetup groups that meet in town on a monthly basis to share ideas of things they're doing with Python. Now, as I mentioned, Python's a great first language to learn, and then becomes a great springboard for learning other languages. such as Kotlin for Android or Swift for iOS. In fact, here at South Mountain, we're basically expecting students to take Python first and then move into learning iOS app development or Android app development. If you learn any other object-oriented languages, such as C# or Java, then moving into those two platforms as far as doing mobile apps is just as sufficient. But because of the ease of use of learning Python, I'm mostly going to push students to take Python first as their beginning language. And then finally, I think it's fun. Programming in and of itself for me is fun. It's kind of a game of, can I get the computer to do what I want it to do? There's great satisfaction in writing an application and having it work. I've been teaching programming for 30 years, but I taught my first Python class last semester, and I actually had written my very first Python program about 4 hours before the class started. And I had a blast learning and teaching Python. Python is also a great language for the hobbyist, for those who just want to create a simple program, do something special for themselves, to increase their own productivity, or to do things like creating Christmas display lights or animatronics, those types of hobbyist activities. Learning any programming language can help you develop your analytical skills. And the ability to program and to code shows an employer that you're a problem solver. And that usually looks really good on a resume, regardless of what type of job you're going for. So those are some reasons why I think you should learn programming, but Python in particular. As we start this course, I hope you're going to find this to be a very enjoyable experience, and I hope this will pique your interest in terms of going on into other programming languages as well.